Leaked photos have completely destroyed the lone gunman story around the Tyler Robinson, Charlie Kirk case. Erica Kirk has also been caught in a resurfaced video. You guys haven't seen this one before. I haven't seen this one before. And now we have a lawyer weighing in on the SUV secrets surrounding the transport of Charlie after he was on Utah Valley University campus on September 10th, 2025. Listen, I was fully prepared to never spend another minute thinking about the inside of that SUV. Then Candace Owens dumped a collection of photographs onto the internet, and now here we go again. The pictures themselves are real, but what they mean is where the arguments begin. Some people think that they're documenting a chaotic emergency. Others think that they raise questions that have not been answered at all. Either way, the conversation has changed overnight. And look, we all know Candace Owens has a reputation for being a loose cannon.
No one can debate this. I'm right. It's a fact.
But we have to give credit where it's due here. She, as far as I'm concerned, is basically one of the only friends who refuses to let this go. Look at Blake Neff. He looks like he's constipated or uncomfortable or hiding something every time a camera points his way. Andrew Colvett has a whole lot to hide.
I know everything.
And then Erica Kirk, of course.
We knew that there was always going to be a threat.
While everyone else in Charlie's inner circle seems completely fine, accepting that Tyler Robinson acted alone and calling the case done and dusted before the pretrial even starts, Candace is still digging. And you got to appreciate that about her. She's the only one demanding actual answers when the rest of his network is completely moved on to the grift and selling t-shirts or shooting them out of a cannon gun. So up until this point, we haven't really had a lot of new information in the last couple of weeks. I'm going to show you exactly how these leaked photos destroy the lone gunman story and confirm that it's very unlikely that Tyler Robinson acted alone.
We've been told that this individual, Robinson, is a lone gunman, and maybe he is. But the investigation that I was a part of, the National Counterterrorism Center was a part of, we were stopped from continuing to investigate.
The details inside this car and the deeper meaning behind these images that you may or may not have seen, and what the lawyer is saying, weighing in on this in the SUV secrets surrounding that shattered microphone, the theory completely changes the timeline altogether. So let's start with the moment that seemed to pour gasoline on an already raging fire. Candace called Erica Kirk an emotional asset.
It is the most important thing to me that no harm comes to Erica. The most important thing. The message, investigating this, she's getting death threats. No, let's be very clear on my intention in this investigation. I want Erica to outlive everyone. Long live Erica Francevay. Death is easy, actually. Death is easy. Living a long life when everybody knows who and what you are and what you are a part of and what you did. Long live Erica Francevay.
Woof. So Candace has stripped Erica of Charlie's name, and now she's only calling her Erica Francevay. She, in this clip, all but accuses Erica of Charlie's murder. This clip took over my Twitter feed real quick. Some people thought it was justified. Others thought it crossed a line. Either way, this really heats up the conversation. And almost immediately, people started digging up older footage looking for more. So whether or not you think that crossed a line, it changed the tone. We can agree on that. And this wasn't the only clip that people started revisiting. Because also what I gotta say is like, look, you don't take it this far just for performance. I think Candace Owens could command attention in this case in other ways, or center herself, or really be one of like the loudest voices in this conversation through other means. I don't think, my personal gut is, I don't think she's doing this just for the grift. You don't really take it this far for that. So seems like she knows something, and it seems like she's saying it with her full fucking chest. So this is the other clip that kept getting reposted, not because it answers anything, but because people couldn't stop talking about it.
Charlie is talking about Donald Trump's unaliving attempt.
I broke Shabbat halfway through the morning.
because someone contacted Erica saying, do you want Jay to be vice president? And so I said, do I really need to break Shabbat? They said, we need you to turn your phone on. And so that's a big deal for me, to break Shabbat, right?
Yes.
And so I sent some input.
All right. And then,
So then anyway, I had my phone open for the rest of the day. And Erica, I kid you not, was like, she said, I think God wants you to have your phone on today. I was like,
she really said that.
She said that. I have the text.
So for people who don't know, that Charlie is usually completely incommunicado, completely dark on Saturdays. And it just so happens, because there was this other thing going on, that you happen to be on your phone on this Saturday when you're never on your phone on Saturdays.
And
Look at these bros talking over each other like they're all fucking nervous, like they're all full of shit. The body language. Okay, what do you guys think of this? This is crazy. Some people are like, oh, Erica Kirk is just getting a download from JC. I don't buy it. She was tapped into something based off of this clip, and she was ready. So why would Erica have that kind of insider information? That's weird. I feel like Charlie is sincerely playing dumb, and he's just like being a man where he's like, oh, you got somebody to pick up my underwear and feed me and like do all the free house labor. Like, I'm good. He doesn't really care about Erica. It's giving like JD Vance Usha. That shows that Erica knew something. And I also don't buy that he's not on his phone on Saturdays. He's just trying to virtue signal, but hold on to that, because I need you to see this. And this kind of changes all of that.
Candace is, she's on our team. She's the best. We're on Team Candace. I got a text message from some lunatic. Charlie, why do you have her still speaking at AmFest? I said, lose my number. Wow. I said, you obviously haven't been through the Tyler remembers, the Charlie Candace thing.
How is your relationship with Candace Owens nowadays?
She's a great friend. You know, look, I don't agree with everything Candace says, but you know what I don't do? I don't stop being friends with people just because people morally blackmail me. I have different views on a lot of geopolitics. But honestly, I traveled the country with Candace. I went to her wedding. I saw her meet her husband. I went to Israel with Candace, which is a fun story I'll tell you at some point. But what I don't like is when people demand, you must stop being friends with somebody. Whoa. And so I think the world of Candace. She's a great mother. She certainly has very, very fun opinions at times. And she's a great talent. She says a lot of stuff that sometimes I don't agree with, but that's what makes our relationship and our friendship interesting. My advice to all of you, you might not like somebody, but never tell somebody like me to stop being friends with somebody on an interpersonal level just because of disagreement.
Wow. Okay. His favorite animal. That is some chemistry. And listen, you should have good chemistry rapport with the people you work with, but you can tell that they had chemistry. That body language, to me, he adored her. He loved Candace. It was kind of like flirty even. Today's episode is brought to you by Chapter. You know what's super unhinged? The way Medicare works. Like, look, I spent 15 years inside of marketing machines, and I know the difference between a system built to help you and one built to confuse you. Medicare is the second one. Thousands of plans, conflicting information, never-ending spam calls. That's why you need to know about Chapter. Chapter is the only Medicare advisor that compares every plan nationwide. The doctors you like, the medications you take, your priorities. They use it all, and they find a plan that actually fits your life. If you've already found the right plan, they'll tell you, and if not, they'll help you switch. Last year, seniors who found new plans with Chapter saved an average of $1,100 on healthcare costs. If you're turning 65 or already on Medicare, call Chapter at 424-292-6476. It's free. It takes under 20 minutes, and that's an express line. Seriously, just do it. 424-292-6476. And then people zoomed out even further, and instead of focusing on those clips and those moments and revisiting all their public appearances together, they looked at this in contrast.
My name is Erica Kirk. That's my daughter in the background. This is not my normal orbit, but Arizona is very special to me. I moved here with my mother when I was 5, and it was home immediately. And I watched her, as a single mom, build a business. I want to be politically correct that we're at Turning Point Action today. So behind the podium, he's a fighter, but behind closed doors, he is daddy. So incredible that my children, our children, get to watch him.
He would walk through the door, drop his bags. Daddy's home. take his phone Friday night, Shabbat Shalom, throw it in the junk drawer, and it was just all us. And that's what I always wanted to make so special for him, was coming home.
May that love never find me. That body language, when you juxtapose it with Candace. So I'm going to read what this subtweet says. Miss Katie Allison. This is absolutely haunting. Look at Charlie's body language as he physically pulls away from Dr. Erica Franceve as she grabs his face to force a kiss. We saw more chemistry between her and the head palming of JD Vance. This is a totally new clip. It's resurfacing from May 31st, 2025. And it says very telling as to what the dynamic was behind the scenes. Poor Charlie. Heartbreak. This was from Andy Bigg's gubernatorial launch event. And it shows that Erica Kirk was warming up before September 10th. Erica Kirk was on stage and opens with, "Hi, my name is Erica Kirk." She immediately says this kind of appearance is not in her orbit. She mentions Turning Point Action and saying politically correct because this isn't her world. She's wearing all black, and later she says, behind closed doors, Charlie is daddy. He is the father of my kids, then quickly corrects to our kids. When Charlie joins her on stage, she grabs him and pulls him in for a kiss. He turns his head. She gets the cheek. Charlie looks visibly uncomfortable. That was roughly 3 months before At the memorial, she wore all white. In my eyes, this was the kiss of death. We're getting a little symbolic. She was mostly behind the scenes as Charlie's trophy wife, not CEO material. Why would he leave his entire legacy to somebody who clearly wasn't comfortable in the spotlight? I don't debate that part. Comfortable and good are different things. So again, everyone sees something different here. That's what's fascinating about this story. The same few seconds of footage here, something completely opposite, different conclusions. I know what I think, and I know what I saw. But here's the thing. None of that actually really matters because the photographs became such a big deal. This is why everyone is passing them around, and it has nothing to do with these personalities, but it has to do with one tiny piece of equipment inside that SUV. So one of the biggest questions surrounding these newly released photos has nothing to do with the blood or the broken glass or even the SUV itself. It has to do with Charlie Kirk's microphone. You guys have been talking about it. You've been making comments around, this is actually not a Rode mic. This is a Rode boom mic, but this is a Shure mic. So Shure, get in touch. Rode, get in touch. May the best sponsor win. For months, Candace and a lot of you have argued that Charlie's Rode mic, the wireless mic, wasn't simply damaged during the chaos of the shooting, but suggested that it shattered inside the vehicle, pointing to debris in the newly released photograph as evidence. So a lot of critics dismissed that idea, arguing that there wasn't enough evidence to support it and treating it like just another internet conspiracy theory. But these photographs just became public, and Baron Coleman, who is an attorney, began examining them in detail and reached a similar conclusion.
This right here, you can see has charred edges. This looks like charred edges. Some sort of metallic something that looks burned. This thing looks burned. But if you look at the image I posted today on X, there is no doubt in my mind, 0% doubt in my mind whatsoever that he had something taped or adhesive, some sort of affixed to his body. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind, 0% doubt in my mind that something under his shirt went crazy. Shirts don't act like that. I can see someone convincing you that having this thing attached under your shirt right here is some new thing we're trying. We're going to capture audio differently. What you'll notice is these things are constructed the same. They have the same glass tempered finish. They're the same size. They have the same sides. And it explodes and it's gone and it's broken. You can see in the video footage a microphone looking thing fall down into his shirt. You can also see the magnet stays put on his neck. And so what you end up with is TPUSA saying, no, his microphone didn't explode. The microphone on his neck? No. It didn't explode at all. It remained whole up here. But you still have a source of this black tempered glass.
I'm so haunted that I use those Rode mics Look at that one right over there. You guys always make comments. Barron then points to another photograph that has been a major part of this argument, an image showing Charlie Kirk's upper torso shortly after the shooting. According to Coleman, the photograph appears to show relatively intact skin in the approximate area where the microphone would have been clipped to Kirk's clothing. He argues that if the device failed in the way that he believes, that detail helps explain the pattern we see in the image. It is a very graphic image. Coleman says this is one of the several pieces of evidence that, in his view, fit together, and investigators have not publicly said anything about this interpretation. And there has been no official finding connecting the microphone to the cause of Kirk's injuries. So this image has nevertheless become one of the most closely debated pieces of visual evidence released so far. This little guy. I'm going to describe this image just in case we can't show it. It's hard to decipher what is happening here, but you can see under his right nipple, it's a lot of blood or bruising, or I'm assuming blood on his skin. It's a very close-up image. And then you can see the size of this and kind of rather untouched skin in that exact shape. It really lends itself well to conspiracies, I gotta say. Doesn't really add up. I think it's important to separate two different questions here. First is like, are these photographs authentic? As far as anyone can tell, they're real photos that Candace has publicly released. And then the second question is like, does this prove anything? There are different conclusions that we here on the internet can draw from this. Baron Coleman believes that they support a much broader theory about what happened during those final minutes. Law enforcement hasn't said shit. Don't really trust them. And these distinctions matter because one is an interpretation and one might require evidence capable of changing the official record. So Barron takes the discussion even further. He moves away from analyzing these photos and starts talking about the motive, specifically who he believes benefits from the public continuing to view the shooter as a lone gunman, doing it as an act of a lone gunman. And that's the point where his analysis shifts from examining this little guy to making broader claims, broader speculation around interference in this case. And it's the point where he claims probably the most controversial take yet.
When I was talking to Candace last night, she shared with me that there were some images that she had in her possession that she had released. And they showed a few pieces of those black flecks around the SUV. But they showed a few images of the black flecks around the SUV, and she rightly identified that as glass, what looked like a broken Rode microphone. You could even see the white paint on it. I'll show you an example of it right here. Here's a Rode microphone. You can see the white paint on it. You can see there's different white images around this, and it's all covered in some sort of a tempered glass. You can see it shining off the studio lights in the background. And it's a lot of it. So she allowed everyone to come to the defense and act like she was crazy. Oh, that's not tempered glass. That's not black glass. That's so stupid. That Candace, she just makes stuff up. She doesn't know what she's talking about. I'm now convinced there are only two classes of people who believe Tyler Robinson planned and executed Charlie Kirk alone from the Losi Center roof with a Granddad's 30-06. There are only two classes of people. One is people who pay no attention. They've been told that on the media, they accepted it, and they moved on. The only other class of people who believe Tyler Robinson solely planned and executed Charlie Kirk from the Losi Center with Granddad's 30-06 are people who politically support TPUSA and our greatest ally. That's it.
So this was posted by Grace Ashford, and it says, Baron Coleman, the only people still insisting Tyler Robinson acted alone are the same people who need him to have acted alone. Turning Point USA and Israel have too much to lose for this story to say this simple. Pretty fucking haunting, if you ask me. I want to know what you guys think. I don't know if you find this persuasive or if you think this is an escalation. I sure do. Discussing these photos, seeing these photos from inside the SUV, Coleman no longer talking about the shattered plastic or broken glass. He's now arguing the narrative itself looks totally different. And it's strange that it hasn't been adopted by investigators. There's no question that his comments combined with Owens' release of these photos have shaken shit up. Again, I'm Loren Piretra. Willa Piretra is here. make sure to subscribe to us. We do this independent, network free every single day out of pure principle to keep you safe from Stephen Miller, who's on the loose, and also as independent, people powered, bootstrapped creators. We can't grow without your support. So find us wherever you get your podcasts. It will mean the world to us. And we'll be back with more.